Hello, Merry Christmas, and welcome to my countdown of the best films of 2013. In this, I will count down my favourite films of 2013 from 10 to 6, and then somewhere down the line, probably tomorrow, I will do my worst 5 films of the year, and then my top 5 of the year. So let's get going. First, as I said, Merry Christmas. I've got my jumper on, I've got my Christmas tree right here. So I hope everyone's eating lots of mince pies and Christmas pudding and watching lots of Christmas movies. To do a quote from my 3 favourite Christmas movies, I would say, put the cookie down now. And I would also say, I want to live again. Oh, holy mackerel. And finally, keep the change, you filthy animal. So yeah, they're my 3 favourite Christmas films. If anyone wants to tell me what they are, then they can feel free to guess, but they're pretty obvious. Anyway, so 2013 then. I'll start off by saying that the 2 films that are sort of favourites to be Best Picture at the Oscars next year have sort of been released here, but not on a proper wide release yet. They are American Hustle, which has come out just at the View in West End, and it comes out here on January the 1st, so it sort of misses my deadline on this one. And also 12 Years a Slave, which came out at the British Film Festival, but hasn't had a wide release yet. That comes out, I think, the first week of January. So they're not included here, so that means I'm immediately out of date. Because thinking about the films that were in the Oscars this year, there's things like Lincoln and Zero Dark 30, Life of Pi, they all just seem like so long ago. So immediately I'm going to be really out of date, but anyway, here we go. So the best films of 2013, as chosen by me, they're sort of the films I like the best, not necessarily the best films, if that makes sense. So I'll try and get a mix of big blockbuster things and more, not obscure things, but other things as well, just because they're my favourites. So to crack things off, I will say... Yep, that whistle was meant to be The Hunger Games Catching Fire, which came out in November, I think it did, towards the end of the year. So I feel like a bit of a fraud talking about it, because I haven't read the books. I'm sorry. So I won't go into, things from that and how much it's like the book or anything like that. But I'm a big film fan. I mean, I do like other books, but I haven't read those books. I really, really loved Catching Fire. I really liked the first Hunger Games film. A couple of years ago or last year, whenever it was, I think towards the beginning of last year. I love Jennifer Lawrence in pretty much everything she's been in. I first saw her in Winter's Bone, I think, and yeah, probably love her in everything I've seen her in. So that's another reason I'm looking forward to American Hustle. But it gets the number 10 spot for me. I saw it twice at the cinema because I really loved it the first time, and then went back to see it again to see the way you see films from a different way when you see it the second time, especially when there's a sort of twist involved in it without spoiling anything. But no, I really enjoyed it both times. I thought a lot of people have said it isn't as good as the first one, but I thought it followed the same sort of formula. It shows kind of Katniss in District 12, bit of kind of Gale and Peter-ness, never that much of that, so that's alright. And then she goes into the games. So this time she's obviously been the victor, and now she's going into the Quarter Quell. So she's going back into the games as a past winner. And it felt a lot bleaker than the first one. It sort of ramped everything up. There were some really kind of brutal and shocking moments. Just a moment where an old guy who did all that got killed. You sort of didn't quite show it, but they pretty much did. And they've been really good at not kind of showing things in the Hunger Games films. The first one had a lot of kind of shaky cam, so it didn't really show any blood. It sort of got around that by doing all the shaky cam and stuff. So there's a lot of things you don't see, but it's there. It's really brutal. And yeah, and also Stanley Tucci is probably my favourite thing in both of the films so far as Caesar. Yeah, Caesar, TV host guy. I love him. I love the whole cast. I love the new additions to the cast. Jonah Malone and Sam Claflin, Jeffrey Wright are all brilliant in their roles. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes now. It ended on quite a kind of big cliffhanger type moment. A lot of people are like, whoa, we can't end it there, but they did. And I'm really looking forward now to I was going to say the final part of the trilogy, but the kind of final 2 parts now, the 2-part finale, which is Mockingjay, out next year. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think so far The Hunger Games is really shaping up to be a very good franchise without any bad notes in it so far. They had different directors for the first 2 films, but he didn't lose anything from the first film, and Jennifer Lawrence is only getting better in her role as Katniss, and yeah, she's pretty brilliant, to be honest. So that's my number 10. Moving on then to number 9, and this is another blockbuster, and my hint will be, you must be truly desperate to come to me for help. Did you get that one? Probably. Yeah, so number 9 is another big blockbuster, as I said, and it's my favourite superhero film of the year. In a year where there were lots of superhero films, there was Man of Steel, there was The Wolverine, there was Iron Man 3, the biggest of the lot, and then there was also Kick-Ass. But my favourite superhero film was Thor: The Dark World. So yeah, it's the second film of the Thor franchise, but the third film that Thor's in, because he's obviously in the Avengers. And Iron Man 3 dealt with how Tony Stark kind of felt after the Avengers, so he's all a bit mopey and kind of reliving things and all that sort of thing. But Thor has got bigger things on, to be honest. He's going out and saving planets here and there, all 7 planets of the realm and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of backstory at the beginning of Thor, which could be a bit sort of boring, but they do it really well. It's got all the kind of elf history, and it's kind of Lord of the Rings-esque at times. I know that's a bit of a grand comparison, but I thought it was true. And I just absolutely love this film. I saw it 3 times, including the premiere, which I probably have mentioned. I definitely have in other videos. And I really loved it. They had a good mix of actors in it. I love Tom Hiddleston as Loki, obviously, everyone does. I do think there are some concerns that Thor probably couldn't carry his own film without Loki in it. Judging by how much they put Loki in and reshot things to put Loki in it more. But Loki's amazing, but his kind of scenes with Thor were brilliant as well. The way they play off each other is brilliant. And of course the main reason I put it in there is because Kat Dennings is in it. No, it's not really, but she's amazing. There's some really, really funny moments. A lot of them around Darcy. I mean, Chris O'Dowd's in it as well, but there's brilliant moments across the board. And I just really, really liked it. I thought it was the funniest of the Thor films, well, of all the, Marvel films. I liked all the stuff in London, because I'm pretty much in London, so that was a kind of reason for me as well. And I just really, really, really liked it. So that's why that's in there. As I say, my top 10 isn't all massive blockbusters, but it just happens that 9 and 10 are both massive blockbusters. So moving on then, and I will talk about another film that came out, I think, around the same time as Thor, actually, and my quote from that one is, look at me, I'm your captain now. Did you get that one? I thought I did that really well. I do that impression literally all the time. That is obviously an impression of Barkhad Abdi, who's one of the Somali pirates in Captain Phillips. Captain Phillips was directed by Paul Greengrass, who is a Tottenham fan. That's a key bit of information there. And he also directed like The Bourne Ultimatum and United 93. And it's Tom Hanks back to his best. He's a brilliant actor. He's had a really good career. He's been in a couple of terrible films like what's it called? Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. It's literally one of the worst films ever. But I love Tom Hanks. He's just amazing. And in this, he is absolutely brilliant. He's had a good year, actually. He was in Saving Mr. Banks as Walt Disney, a very different role, and he was brilliant in that as well. But back to Captain Phillips. Yeah, it's such a tense film, and Tom Hanks is Captain Phillips, and Somali pirates basically come on their radar, and they're coming to raid the ship, as pirates do. And he basically has to keep it together to save his crew and save himself. And yeah, he sweats a lot during this film. He's kind of hurt quite a bit during the film. He's in the film like most shots, to be honest, but it's filmed brilliantly. It goes between real close-ups, you can see the sweat, you can see the kind of pain on their faces and everything, and then there's massive wide shots of these ships in the ocean from miles away, so you can see that it's such a huge deal to the people on these ships, but in the grand ocean, the grand scheme of things, it's, you know, people wouldn't know it was going on, but it's such a huge deal. Based on a real life story, of course, so some people may remember it in the news or know the outcome, but that doesn't really matter. As if you know the outcome, you still don't know the kind of the minute details and what's actually going to happen, even if you do know the final outcome. There's a scene fairly near the end where Tom Hanks sort of breaks down, and it's just such an emotional scene, and it's a brilliant scene. It's actually filmed with somebody who wasn't an actor. It was in their professional role sort of thing, and it was just a brilliant, one of the best scenes in cinema this year, I'd say. Yeah, what else should I say? The Somali pirates, of course. I said Barkhad Abdi as one of the pirates. He's kind of in the running to be a supporting actor nominee at the Oscars. And I'm sorry if I have to keep talking about the Oscars, but I'm pretty obsessed with the Oscars, so I probably will mention the Oscars a few more times. Because Tom Hanks will probably be up for one as well, and stands quite a good chance of winning. Yeah, the Somali pirates were brilliant. They're people we haven't seen before. I think it was their first roles, first acting roles, and they were just absolutely amazing. They felt completely real as Somali pirates. They were completely believable. They were really scary, but sort of you do sort of sympathise with them a little bit by the way that Paul Greengrass kind of shows their origin story as well. Makes them sound like superheroes, but their sort of backstory is probably a better word. And yeah, it's just a really, really brilliant film. It's quite long, but I felt it earned its place. It's a very, very tense film and one of the best films of the year as it's in this list. That's my number 8 film, Captain Phillips. And moving on then to my number 7 film. There's not really a quote I can do from this. It's just lots and lots of breathing, but it is. Yeah, it's Gravity. Gravity is a brilliant film. It looks absolutely amazing. I saw it in 3D, which I'm a massive hater of because I literally hate 3D. I could talk about that for a long time. I may do another video about that one day. But it's been described as the first kind of classic 3D film, and it sort of does earn that place. It looks amazing. You could think they'd actually filmed it in space. Anyone who doesn't know, which is probably no one, it stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, that's his name. They're both astronauts. Sandra Bullock's a kind of first-timer called Ryan Stone. She's a kind of research astronaut. And then there's kind of old-timer last mission George Clooney as Matt Kowalski. And they're basically, I think they're just about to return to Earth when a kind of meteor shower or asteroid, they get hit basically. A meteor shower, that's the one, isn't it? And everything gets kind of destroyed. They lose contact from each other, from their ship, from kind of space station, all that sort of thing, and it's mainly a lot of Sandra Bullock in the film. Yeah, she's really good in it. I'm not a big Sandra Bullock person, but she's amazing. It's another really tense film. I know I said that about Captain Phillips, but this is another brilliant film with great performances as well. And Space is sort of a character in its own. He's sort of the villain in this. I say he or she. That's the villain, Space. You've got to survive. You've got to get back to Earth, and Space is kind of going against you on this one. So it's amazing the lengths that Sandra Bullock as Ryan Stone goes to just to try and survive. And yeah, it's a brilliant, brilliant film. It's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who is a director that I really do love. His kind of last foray into sci-fi, I guess you'd say, was Children of Men, which is one of my favourite films of all time. I love that film. Clive Owen's just an amazing man. Yeah, and he also directed my favourite Harry Potter film, which was Prisoner of Azkaban, so he's got good pedigree. But this is a real kind of, this will win all the kind of cinematography and visual effects Oscars, I imagine, and sound possibly as well. It's just a brilliant, brilliant film. Everyone I know that's seen it's loved it, and it's, yeah, a really good film. So that is my number 7. Number 6, and I don't really know a quote for it, so I will just say it is... Yeah, my number 6 film is Blue Jasmine. It's Woody Allen's return to form film of 2013. I'm quite a Woody Allen fan, I guess. I like kind of some classic ones like Annie Hall, not so keen on Manhattan and some of the others, but I like Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and Midnight in Paris was a really good film a couple of years back as well. Yeah, it's got a lot of real kind of Woody Allen touches, even just from the font and the kind of jazz music in the opening. But this is Cate Blanchett in a kind of rival to Sandra Bullock for Best Actress, I imagine, at the Oscars next year. She stars as Jasmine, the title character, and the blue comes from that she's pretty much, it's the name of a song in the film, but also that she's pretty blue, she's pretty depressed. As the film goes on, she really unravels from a kind of socialite, kind of upper class, really in control married lady, and you see through flashbacks how her relationship ended and why her husband, played by Alec Baldwin, is in prison. Alec Baldwin's really good. He's a kind of smarmy, kind of financials man. He's really good. It's got a very good cast, a very big cast actually. If you're a Boardwalk Empire fan, you'll appreciate the cast. It's got Bobby Cannavale in it, who won an Emmy for being Gyp Rossetti in season 3 Boardwalk. It's also got Rothstein, Michael Stuhlbarg in it. Yeah, it's a brilliant film. Sally Hawkins is worth a mention because she plays Jasmine's sister, and she's not had the same opportunities as Jasmine. She's kind of settled for her lot. She's got a husband who's a bit of a slob, and she wants to find the perfect relationship for her, and she's brilliant in this film. She steals some scenes, and Blanchett will get a lot of plaudits, but she's absolutely brilliant as well, Sally Hawkins. So yeah, that's my 7th film. Is that my 7th? No, it's my 6th. So that is the end of this video then. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you think anything should be higher or lower, and I hope you come back for my part 2, which will be my films 5 to 1, and I'll also post my worst 5 films of the year as well. Yeah, thanks for watching.